An evening event at Market Square in St. Catharines had those in attendance taking a stand against sexual violence. It's called Take Back the Night, and scenes like this have been taking place around the world for over 40 years.
Like our tagline basically is take this light and start a fire. So a lot of work has been done by advocates and women that came before me and a lot of other people to kind of draw attention to the challenges and violence that women face on a daily basis. But now, although laws have been enacted and maybe comfort with certain topics is a little better now, there are different challenges that younger people face, whether that, and not just younger, but drinks being spiked, being online sextortion is huge in younger populations. So those are some challenges that I never certainly had to deal with, but they're dealing with on a regular basis.
Part of Jessica Wang's role at the center is public education. She gives presentations on sexual violence at schools and workplaces across the region.
I think education is the best way to stop it, because when people know what their rights are, what they're allowed, what a healthy relationship is, they're more likely to act on it, to know what their boundary is, to know to reach out when they need help, and that's the best way to prevent sexual violence becoming a bigger issue than it needs to be.
This is more than a march. It is a movement for change.
In what ways do people reach out to you when they're in need of help?
So we have a few different ways. So we have the hospital response program. So if someone's been recently sexually assaulted within 12 days, they can go to the hospital to get a rape kit. Now at the hospital, we will have a hospital response worker there with them to help them throughout that entire process, whether it is reporting to the police or whatever it is. And then they also get referred to our agency that way. Now, sometimes people might be living with trauma for a very long time, and they might not realize how it's impacted them until one day in the future, and then they decide that they need to reach out.
One of the aims of Take Back the Night is to shatter the silence on a topic that many have difficulty discussing.
So one of the biggest challenges of the center, and I think sexual assault centers in general, is that this is a really difficult topic for people. So one of our focuses, especially on social media, has been to kind of take some of the stigma away from sexual assault and really let people know that they're not alone in those experiences that they might have. So it is difficult to fundraise for this topic. It's difficult to communicate this to the community. People often find this subject really hard to hear and hard to talk about. So the center does the best that they can, especially with events like Take Back the Night, to get out there in the community. And the more we get together as a community and get people out to events like this, it kind of reduces the stigma.
The present waiting list for those needing the services of the Niagara Sexual Assault Centre is proof that there is still much work to be done.
1 in 3 women are victims of sexual violence, but there's very few that report, and there's a multitude of reasons why. That being stigma from society, that could also be, hesitation to deal with the court system, because in reality, at the end of the day, very few perpetrators actually end up spending any time in prison, and that's something that needs to be addressed.
In Niagara, you're watching The Source on your TV.